that's what's at stake here, right? So the very existence of the Occupy movement creates a force relation of power within the social order, where it is a force of resistance, right? Where the occupation movement is a force of resistance within the social order, while also being resisted by the existing forces. The incorporation of the Occupy movement is contingent on how readily the existing social nexus absorbs or refuses to absorb the movement into the larger social superstructure, right? So as we saw before, right, it is not the case that the Occupy movement isn't in an, we'll do something like this. Well, actually, I'll just show it over here, right? The Occupy movement as sort of branching out, disseminating itself a source, a conduit of power, is in opposition to some other structure, right? It's itself in opposition to another structure. The absorption, the attempt to repel, the transformation of the Occupy movement is contingent on how readily the existing structure allows the Occupy movement to get a place, to get a seat at the table, right? Can the Occupy movement finally itself occupy? Now, this is definitely not a physical occupation. Occupy itself within the social nexus. It's arguably already done that, right? Meaning that the Occupy movement already has its place in history. To be sort of matter of fact, right? There's already a place in history for the Occupy movement. You would imagine you could go to Wikipedia, type in Occupy movement, and now it's going to flesh out day by day more information. On this date, this is what happened in Oakland. On this date, this is what happened in Greece. On this date, this is what happened in Italy. On this date, this is what happened in London. On this date, this is what happened. On this date, on this date, on this date. On this date, this happened, and this, right? It's occupying itself within the, to be Hegelian, right? Into the historical, I don't want to get too complicated, but it really is occupying it within the historical trajectory. It is present now, and what is yet to be seen, what is yet to be determined, is the position that it will occupy in the future, right? What's going to happen is, as people jump in and participate in this occupation movement, and then they leave and they go back to the government, and they leave and they go back to the ivory tower, and they leave and they go back to the banking systems as former occupationists, right? As they leave, they bring occupation with them. Occupation is here now. Occupation is here now. Occupation is here now, and on and on and on. Like, they bring what they learned. They bring the ideas. This is a very simple story, right? Yeah, I met my girlfriend at an Occupy rally. I met a really good lifelong friend. I didn't know that now. I don't know that this person is going to become a lifelong friend of mine, but I met him or her at Occupy. I was there when, the soldier almost got killed. I was there. I helped him. I took a picture with him, right? I was there, right? Insofar as we now experience, this is now a phenomenological sort of assessment, insofar as we have our own individual lived experiences at Occupy, or our own lived individual experiences of me informing you of Occupy from an academic level, you leave the movement, you leave the state of protest, you turn off YouTube, you go back to your respective functions, but that Occupy stays with you, that mentality, that what you've learned, what you've experienced, what you've felt, what you've seen, what you've heard, what has touched you, what has impacted you, stays with you. And if I do my job well, if your experience at the Occupy rally and the protests is profound enough, it will stay with you forever. And that is going to influence the institutions that you are a member of. Because you, not the movement, you, the individual, are the greatest benefit to the movement, right? The greatest benefit is for you to go back to your respective positions in society and preach Occupy. Right? You can proselytize Occupy, right? Which is a dangerous thing. Don't proselytize Occupy, right? But you get the idea, right? The idea is, I want to make a believer out of non-believers. I want people who thought Occupy was ridiculous to look at Dr. Campbell and be like, I still don't believe Occupy is worth anything, but Dr. Campbell definitely believes in it. and I'll give them that much, right? Well, if that's the case, that's fine. But you can recognize how this is going to influence me, and has influenced me, and will continue to influence me. And hopefully, now that you recognize that it's not about me, that it is about getting this information out so that you can take this information, and then you can take this information to your respective social stations and inform your respective social stations of your experiences, right? It's just about telling the story of Occupy, right? And what a great story it is to tell. And as I said, I'll be part of this movement, and I'll put my neck on the line for the movement as long as the movement stays peaceful. If the movement becomes some violent movement, well, I'll bow out of Occupy, right? But as of now, Occupy is a peaceful movement, and insofar as it's a peaceful movement, what am I going to do? Say that I'm not going to support Occupy. I'm not going to give my whole intellect to the Occupy movement because some morons out there are upset about the fact that I'm doing Occupy lectures. They'll be all right. So it's just really powerful stuff. I hope I did Foucault service. Foucault is profoundly difficult to understand, and even harder to try to communicate on a general level, but hopefully I did my job of it. So anyway, it's too late for that. This is the end of the lecture series. This is the end of my discussion on Foucault's Power is Knowledge as applied to the Occupy movement. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell. Have a good day.